Right guys, welcome to another beer review, and yeah, I've got quite a few to go through while I'm back here in the UK, and I thought it was going to take a little, maybe a couple of days off, but I'm going to the pub with my dad later on tonight, so why not just drink some today as well? Plus, Christmas is gone, but it's still the festive season as I'm recording this, and you know, just as the poet Sean Ryder once said, "No days off." So who can argue with that? Anyway, we've got a light beer today from Young's, part of the Charles Wells, Wells and Young's brewery. I'm not sure who the main company is, but this is the Young's Light Ale, light traditional beer, clocking in at 3.2%. This is in a 275 bowl because I think it was part of one of these like little gift packs you can get. And I can't remember if I was actually given this or if my mum gave me because she got like a few beers. She really loves Black Sheep, but she didn't have a bottle of Black Sheep this year. She's been is it McEwen's Superior? She's been enjoying quite a few of those in shandy form. So yeah, the good thing about being a beer lover is you get palmed off a lot of beers. Um, there's always a positive and a negative to that, of course. And yeah, so Young's Light Ale, a light refreshing bitter with a distinctive crisp taste. It looks fairly, nice in terms of the labelling, and I do like that crown, so I'll definitely be keeping that. Let's see what it says on the back. A light refreshing bitter with a distinctive crisp taste, pale amber in colour. Young's Light Ale is a clean, satisfying blend of Marisota English malts, barley, and Fuggles and Goldings hops, Britain's favourite light ale, apparently. So yeah, thought I'd have something a little bit lighter and see what we get from it. I'm just going to pour it all in because it's a small bottle. There we go. And yeah, going to raise a glass to the late great George Michael with this beer review as well. That was a bloody shock, wasn't it? I was not expecting to hear about that, to be honest. And yeah, 2016 has been a shit year for cultural deaths, if you will. But this one stung a little bit. I know people say, oh, but what about Bowie? I enjoyed Bowie's music, but I've got to admit, I enjoyed the music of Wham and George Michael a little bit more. And even though I was starting to get a little bit sick of hearing Last Christmas, but not even going to attempt to make a joke. So beer in a glass, and that is a lovely clear beer, really nice, sort of like rusty looking. Nice amounts of carbonation streaming up there. It looks a little bit darker on camera, and I look even more of an albino than I usually do. But yeah, beer poured with about one finger's worth of like the dregs of maybe a slightly off-white head. It doesn't look completely white, but yeah, you get really nice golden hues reflecting through the beer glass. Looks like I've got like special powers. Anyway, let's see what it smells like. Definitely pick up the malts in there. It's very biscuity. Getting a little bit of like a potato peel sort of aroma as well. Like a little bit of like a generic, root vegetable sort of aromas. Also smells like you've opened a pack of barley and you've just stuck your nose in there. You do get that slight citrusy hop character in there as well. A little bit earthy. But yeah, it's got a nice, somewhat strong aroma for a 3.2% light traditional ale. I think would this be classed as a golden ale? I'm not too sure. Don't really do too much research on this one. Anyway, let's see what we get. Cheers. Ooh, a lot more citrusy than I was expecting, to be honest. And you get a little bit more of a hop character and presence than I was expecting. The body is, of course, a little bit light, but I've had a couple of beers recently which I didn't end up reviewing. What was it? Was it the Brew by Numbers? One of the table saisons, and yeah, that was around the same ABV, but the body in that was just not satisfying at all. But this, it's light and crisp, but it's still got a tiny bit of girth to it. That being said, I'm getting a little bit like an apple, maybe a slight like fermented pear sort of flavour as well. Bitterness comes in nicely on the back end. You know what? It's not a bad beer. For a beer that's 3.2% from one of the big boys, you could give this to a lot of like craft beer drinkers, and they will probably shoot holes into it and pick out a lot of faults. But I think even the most, well, if you're a forgiving craft beer fan and real ale aficionado, you can agree that there's a hell of a lot worse and a lot weaker out there. It's got a nice amount of flavour to it, very drinkable, very crisp, quite refreshing as well. And yeah, there's really nothing wrong with that. The only thing I would say is there's like maybe a slight sourness in there, and it's again like that sort of very slight appley, peary sort of fermented fruit character, which is a little bit off for me personally. But a very inoffensive beer, nice and simple. And is there a date based before day on this? Apparently not, which is always a great thing when you're trying to discern the freshness of the beer. I don't think it would be a fresh beer. God knows how long that's been sat on the the gift sections in like Home and Bargains or wherever. But you know what? If this was on tap, I'd happily go for it. If there wasn't too much else there. And I don't mean in that like, oh, I'd just settle for it sort of way. But yeah, sat in the pub, maybe, perfect location for, a beer like this to drink would be like somewhere like the Lake District where you've got like nature around you and you just want to have a nice, crisp, refreshing beer just to kick back to. It's going to go well with pretty much any food that you eat, whether it be like a curry, steak, or, God forbid you eat seafood, or even like a salad. It's one of those sorts of beers. So in terms of a rating, I'm going to give this one a 7 out of 10. Quite a surprisingly good beer, actually, and I know that's my own little bias there. But the only other one that I've had by the Wells and Young folk was the Sticky Toffee Pudding Ale, which started off good, but like after I finished the review and I was drinking it more, just got very, very sickly and synthetic. But this is a nice beer, and yeah, 7 out of 10. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. If you tried this beer or any of the beers from the brewery, then let me know your thoughts and opinions. Check out my Real Ale playlist down below. And yeah, until the next time, see you all later. And yeah, I'm going to go listen to Careless Whisper now. See you guys later. Cheers. I'm not